return to open session, please? Second?
Second.
Rob, take over.
Don Eugler.
Aye.
Jennifer Kraus.
Aye.
Matt Briggs. Diane Ryan. Mike Burke.
Aye.
Brady Kraus.
Aye.
First off, I'd like to welcome everybody here this evening. We could stand, take the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up, we're going to conduct a public hearing regarding the fiscal year 2026 IBC school district budget. Mr. Buzzard?
All right. Guys follow along, so get the first page of their budget considerations. Just starting off on the revenue side of things, evidence-based funding was funded once again, about another $350 million at the state level was there, so that's a nice increase in EBF funding. Just as a reminder, EBF funds, we can kind of use those as needed pretty well in our main three operating funds, the ed fund, the O&M fund, the transportation fund. The vast majority of that investment for ed funds. Our local property tax revenue is increasing slightly from last year to this year. If you're about next year yet, but hope to hear that trend continues. Categorical payments is something, if you remember, we don't have as many of those as we once did because of the EBF formula integrating those payments into there, but we have had a trend of still getting 4 payments, even though they are getting an additional proration. So we're losing a few percentages on a few of our categorical payments. So that's a little bit of a loss in revenue for the categoricals. As I put in there, the transportation specifically was prorated the most out of those. We are projected for our CPPRT, corporate property replacement tax, to remain flat for this year, which was positive. As you recall, the last couple of years, it's been the complete opposite of the 2 years prior to, where it had spiked, and now we have been plummeting. And we think we have now plateaued, hopefully. County facility sales tax continues to be a great thing for projects here at the district. So just shy of $900,000 of projected revenue for this year. So obviously, we'd love for people to continue to shop locally. So, on the expenditure side of things, obviously we have our facility upgrades that we've had that typically we pay for in the FY fiscal year after the summer in which the work has been done. So we have all that work that has been done this last summer that we would have those expenses. Obviously, we see our playgrounds throughout the district. That luckily that's federally funded, so we see that kind of be money out, money in type of a scenario. A big expense item whenever we go through the actual numbers of the budget, are you going to see, if you look at total numbers of the budget, there being a pretty significant deficit is looking at the completion of the transportation facility. Obviously, we had that huge influx of revenue in the previous year. Once again, then we hope to be moving forward on that, and that'll go out this fiscal year, hopefully. We can get it done for June 3. Being uniforms is something that has come up that's going to be a pretty large expense. It's been 14 years since they have been done, and that is typically ran on almost on a basically a decade rotation is the history. So they have extended that. It's something that's been kind of on the radar for me for the last couple of years. So we're looking at that. That's in there. Obviously, we did have larger than normal or larger than ever salary increases for both our certified support staff. So that is a incredible large portion of our budget. So take that, increase it, that is going to have an impact as well. Supply material costs would continue to increase. Mr. Birch will be able to cover more on that. And then, obviously, we're just going to, on the expenditure side, we've got that county facility sales tax coming in. So we're attacking some of those upgrades that are going to cost some money to do, but are needed. So you go to the 25-26 budget overview. This is, once again, it's the 9 funds. On the left column is the budgeted revenues, on the right is the budgeted expenditures. If you just go straight to the bottom, you can see that, that deficit that I was explaining to you, 29 million in revenue, 32.7 in expenditures. That's with probably a little over $4 million of capital projects built into the budget. So you can kind of see where that number puts us. And then if you go to the next slide that has the wrong years on it. That's the ones that have the blue highlighted funds. So the ones that are highlighted in blue are operating funds, is kind of the terminology for school districts. So really the operating budget of the district is pretty well a balanced budget. The 23,900,000 in revenue, 23,800,000 and almost 75,000 in expenditures. So pretty well a true balanced operating budget, which is what we like to see. Then go to, I have a revenue comparison from FY25 to FY26. I'm not going to read those numbers to you, but you can see the slight increases that we had talked about in some of those areas. The slight decrease in the transportation funds, we talked about the proration and those categories. That's one person moving. The other thing to obviously note on there is the debt service. Recall we issued worth cash bonds to fund the transportation facility, so that's why you see the increase from 2.1 million to 2.4 million, which was anticipated and reviewed last year during the levy. Expenditure comparison, once again, 26 to 25, you can see those numbers and where they increase from each year to year. And then the last page is the budget summary. And kind of paint you a picture. There are a few red numbers in there for deficit spending, but they are very, very small numbers in the scheme of things as far as how much the budget is, with obviously the large deficit in the capital projects fund, because that is once again several of those capital projects. That's all I had.
Any questions or comments from the board?
You know, I'm always asking about CPPRT. On the revenue comparison page, are those funds embedded like in the educational where you appropriated that revenue?
Yeah, they're
I don't
allocated.
see a
Yeah, no, so if you dive into the actual budget forms, probably, I don't know, 50 pages.
Yeah.
And it digs a little deeper into this. So it's gonna be a state source of funding, whenever you're looking at revenue comparisons.
okay.
But then, yes, it can be, CPPRT can be spread out into each bucket, in
Right.
each fund. There was a law passed in, I don't even know when it was, the 70s or something. We even have an earmarked amount that we have to put in IMRF. So $37,000 of CPPRT always has to go to IMRF. And then those funds are pretty similar to evidence-based funding. We just kind of use them where we need.
Any other questions from the board? All right, the opportunity for public comment regarding the budget. All right, Hearing none, we'll move on to citizens agenda, opportunity for community and staff input on agenda items. Hearing none, moving on, informational discussion items. Dr. Allen.
Start with Mr. Graham. Mr. Graham, by the way, is in the middle of class, so he's going to give his presentation and go back to class, which has been held in his office. So, virtually.
So what's going on
There's
in
only
there?
4 pages. There are a lot of people in there. So he's just on a little break right now. So
Yes.
He's going to make this quick.
So if you look at the page, it's everything that we have for South. I kind of wanted to put our new teachers out there. Tori Dalton and Sammy are brand new first-year teachers. Great hires. Tori, of course, is an IBC student. Marianne Coffey, which is our aide, also an IBC student. And then Matt Davis, who took over as our custodian, also has kids in the district, actually lives on 5th Street. So a lot of IBC hires at South, and it's very nice to have that. Always like to give a shout out to my leadership team. So those are the individuals on my team this year. We'll actually be meeting tomorrow morning. But those are the people and then what they represent here at South. Building changes, some of them which you kind of already heard with kindergarten playground. We did get new lights in the gym, but we're also transitioning a lot of our smart boards to TVs just because they're so much brighter and the sound is better. We lost that availability to touch, but with some of our new curriculums, the TVs are working out just fine. I hit strategic planning. I know we have our old goals on there, which is our welcoming families. Kind of like to bring that up just because of the family involvement. We've already done our back to school night or open house, Grandparents' Day. If you ever drive by here, yeah, it's insane. Feels like there's 2,000 people here, and I get asked about it all year long, but I'm going to do it what day it is. So we fill the gym and we fill the cafeteria, the courtyard, and 2 additional rooms, and we still don't have enough. So it's absolutely packed. Celebrate homecoming this week with our dress up days, community day, and a lot of different fundraisers with our PTO. Big incentive that we've tried this year for parents. As more parents are involved, they kind of can move up to be able to have an incentive to eat breakfast with Mr. Grant, because that's what we do for our blood drive. That's always been a very big thing. So we're doing that for our PTO. And then just our great partnerships, Lions, Optimists, they always give us money and donations, which is always big. Social emotional learning, as we've heard from all the schools, we continue with our blue tickets, our $5 Fridays. We have a monthly message, which is what the kids absolutely love, which lead to quarterly celebrations and then SEL parties that we also do. We do the lunch with Mr. Grant, as you can see behind you, where kids get to eat lunch with me on Friday. If they show positive lunch behavior, which is always a big fun thing, which they love it. I don't know why, it's just lunch with Mr. Grant, but it's something that they appreciate. We started something new. We always do our potlucks, but teacher SEL for social emotional. We every Friday do coffee and conversation. So we have a coffee bar where teachers get to come in and we just talk about Friday and start the day. So it's not necessarily all school. It's just being able to start our Fridays off right. Now into the 25 goals. Our MTSS, we still run the format of a small group block in our schedule, which allows us to pull for ELA, math, and SEL. It's something that we look at to be consistent more across the district, since it's a district goal, to be able to look at MTSS and how it's meeting our kids' needs. PLCs are the same, a district goal. We haven't received the training at the K-5 because of our new curriculum. We'll get that later in the year. But we started early by talking about strengths and areas of improvements in all of our grade levels, so that we kind of have a jumping off point to be able to start seeing what we need to do with our PLCs. Curriculum, this is our second year using really great reading and EL education in K2, and we use MyView in our 3rd grade here, but it's 3rd, 4th, and 5th throughout the district. And My Math is our math program. Parents Grade, like you've heard multiple times from the other principals, it's going great. We have a ton of reports saying that we're getting a lot of feedback back and forth, specifically at South. But we were kind of anticipating that. We had Dojo, which we always communicated, so Parents Square just took that and kind of pumped that up. Another piece I wanted to share, the cut scores did come out for IAR specifically. So that adjustment was shared in its own ISB format. Basically, they took the benchmark cut scores and lowered them. So if you would like to look at the back, I give you some information of just how it affected South. As you can see, our initial cut scores, we had 5 exceed meet, approaching partial, and did not meet, is what it used to be. And now across the board, K through 12, state of Illinois is above proficient, approaching, and below. So the new cut scores got applied, and you can see kind of where, how it shifted us, for sure. So probably the biggest thing is the bottom, from the percent of 40% to 65%, and then 32 to 64. That math piece was because we had a band of kids all within a couple points of actually the cut score. So by lowering the cut score, we moved almost 25 kids into the meeting piece. So this will happen at all the schools. We all have the same cut scores, and we all have the same thing. So I know also my sister's school, we talked about it and how it affected us all pretty much the same. So just wanted to kind of give that visual out there. And yeah, if you have any questions about anything on here, I will gladly take them now.
I want to get a breakfast with you.
You can come anytime. So it's a blood drive breast. Dr. Allison didn't like it very much the first time. It's all red, so, because it's blood drive, so it's not that appealing, I guess, but the kids do like it, so. Please ask as many questions as you like, keep me out of class a little bit longer.
That's kind of why we're gonna be quiet.
So I can go. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
Yeah.
Sean.
Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. Next up, we did finish June receipts for county school facility sales tax, $86,555, which you can see is significantly more than we've received the last few years, so that is awesome. And that takes us for the total for the year at $937,000. So it has really been much better than I think any of us could have imagined, and that has allowed us to do a lot of great things with our facilities. So it really took us, we're just shy of 5.5 million since it started back in 2019-20 school year. So that is awesome. September FOIA report. Unfortunately, there are a few on there, and Mr. Busby will tell you that the September report comes out with the September board meeting, but we still got some this week that will be on the October report. The Peoria standard is trying to see, I think, how many Mr. Buzzard can do in a minute, so it's always fun.
Is the one that was denied because it's student? Okay.
Superintendent's report, really, it is homecoming week. All decks were out, which pictures were great, looks nice. I think heard some complaining at my house about involvement of maybe some people with hall decks, parents getting involved. There's some amazing hall decks, but not maybe student creations. So at least that's the theory at my house. But that is good. Tomorrow night is Power Puff, Breakfast Wednesday, and then tomorrow actually is class comps as well. So that's one of my favorite days of the year. High school is streaming it. Oh, good. So that would be great. And then Thursday night, obviously, I hear we're going to have the best bonfire ever, the skit night, so that's always a good one. And then Friday, obviously, parade will start at 3 o'clock downtown, so we are trying to be a little more vigilant. We've had some concerns over the years with some of our little guys and getting out into the parade route with traffic and band members and flags and all kinds of things going, so we are going to try to run a caution line down both sides of the parade route. So if you see that, please remind people to stay behind that. And we even try to kick some of the candy back behind the yellow line, but we just want to keep everyone away so we don't have any issues it's certainly a great event. And we just want to make sure everyone has a safe and fun time. So that will be Friday. I will, and assuming Mr. Briggs is going to talk about the big event that occurred on Saturday, so I won't mention anything about that, other than it was great, what I saw. Anything you want to share? So that's, I guess, all we have for the superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. Next up, we'll go to the consent agenda, minutes of the September 9th, 2025 school board meeting, regular session, monthly bills, and destruction of the September 2023 closed session audio recordings. If I can have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Any comments, questions, discussions? Not hearing none. Rob, take roll, please.
Jennifer Kraus.
Aye.
Matt Briggs.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Mike Burke.
Aye.
Rick Pratt.
Aye.
I'm an aye.
Oh, sorry. Donnie.
That's all right.
Next up, action items. Consider approval of the district budget for the fiscal year 2026. If I can have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
comments, questions, anything from earlier? Hearing none. Rob, take roll, please.
Matt Briggs.
Aye.
Aye. Mike Burke.
Aye.
Rick Bradford.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Jennifer Kraus.
Great. Moving on to personnel report, Dr. Allison.
Personnel report for this evening. We do not have any resignations at this time. Personnel contracts. Jessica Scholl, full-time secretary in the Student Services Center at IBC High School for the 25-26 school year. Elena Rupp, part-time secretary at IBC High School for the 25-26 school year. And then the following health clerks: Susie Van Ostrin, health clerk at South for the 25-26 school year. Heather Okenberg, health clerk at South Elementary School for 25-26. Stephanie Morgan, health clerk at Chillicothe Elementary Center. Amanda Menner, health clerk at Mossville School. Linda Smith, health clerk at IBC High School. And Sean Quaker, health clerk at IBC High School for the 25-26 school year.
I'll move to approve the personnel report as presented. Can you have a second, please?
Second.
Comments, questions, concerns, issues? All right, hearing none. Rob, take roll, please.
I'm an aye. Mike Burke.
Aye.
Rick Bradford.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Jennifer Kraus.
Aye.
Matt Briggs.
It's, other items. Anybody but Mr. Briggs?
Yes, Thursday's the bonfire. I do know we did have Kenton did talk to the homeowner. We've had the dryness has kind of been some concern we talked about. I'm sure we'll probably visit it. You know, we always make a big bonfire. When the bigger you make, the more stuff that comes out of it. We've had a couple of years where we've had embers go to sporting houses, so I think we maybe need to slow it down a little bit. I don't know, I think we're the only ones in the area that do a bonfire, and I'm all for it. But then again, when you get hundreds of pallets and you burn them, fires can happen with it being so dry. So we're talking to the homeowner, maybe moving it a little bit away from the trees, closer to it. Get it done this year, then maybe have a visit with us and the fire departments, because they always have to go around and like put out hot spots that from the numbers that go. And I don't want that. I want to keep the bonfire, but I don't want to make the neighbors upset. So, but yeah, please come on at 7 a.m. We'll be stacking it. I know it's tough rain, but we've had rain before, and diesel and gasoline and ladder fluid can get burned. So,
Thank you. Mr. Briggs, I had to make you wait just a second.
I'm still smiling.
Go ahead.
Still smiling. So we had fantastic inaugural Grey Ghost Classic on Saturday. Years of planning, 2 years of planning with it. I first, when I was going through all of my paperwork, I stumbled across the little PowerPoint I put together to pitch to the boosters. And Mr. Chapman was sitting back and saying, I don't know if I want it right now. So, but everyone got on board. We had, I don't know how many volunteers.
400,
Yeah.
plus the kids.
Yeah,
So,
all the band members were volunteering and everything like that. We had some initial numbers. We've heard some rumblings of the money, but we won't talk about that yet. But I mean, we got 1,200 tickets sold. 1,100 band members were here. 100 members of staff from the bands here. 11 judges. Brady Miller put them up at Carnegie for 2 nights and entertained them and everything like that. We had, these are just estimate numbers. When I was texting Chris Nelson, we had 400 burgers, 400 pork chops, 350 hot dogs, 40 plus pizzas. It just was, it was pretty fantastic. And chatting all day, and the worry and the panic text 2 days in advance from Chris Yates is sitting there saying, the weather's coming in. I'm like, it hadn't rained in months. So I made a new friend at WMDB with this. So But no,
We got it all.
we got it all in. We had one small delay. Rich Woods was getting ready to go on the field and it just kind of let loose a little bit, cleared out, and it was fantastic. It really was. It exceeded every expectation. Looking at social media afterwards, giving huge props to the whole community, the whole band and everything like that for being able to put it on. We had comments throughout the day about this is your guys' first time doing this. We had judges, Aaron Cavalman, one of the judges, is a drumline instructor at University of Illinois. He said he's been doing this for 10, 11 years, and he said it's one of the best put together and supported competitions he's ever been to. So again, I was smiling for 3 or 4 days straight. So I saw some of you guys out there. I don't know if it was in my panic times earlier in the day or it was in the relief as I'm standing up on the press box and looking at the line of cars. But I want to thank the schools. Dave Barker was a huge help, and Frank out there, and thank the community for supporting. And it meet and beat every single expectation. And mark it on your calendar, September 26, 2026. I've got it cleared with Brad already. So. But it was a great time. So. Yeah.
It was just, I shared earlier that it was just kind of surreal to be up there in the press box and look out and see that we actually did it, as many, I talked every day for the last 600 days. So, yeah, a lot of planning, but,
And as far as results, we had, so Dwight D. Eisenhower won Class 1A, 2A was Kiwanee High School. And then we had a little shifting of schedules, so there was no 3A, but 4A, normal, yeah. And 5A, Morton took it, and then Morton took Grand Champion. And then posted all over their Instagram how we had the coolest trophy that we've ever seen. So we got the ghost on top, it was really, really cool. So yeah.
it was really neat during the day to hear other parents coming up to us and saying, hey, someone from another school is like, this is really cool, and we like this about yours, and, just different things that we did that they haven't done, being our first time and stuff, so, that was really nice that all of the community, Morton, Normal, everybody was very supportive, so.
Congratulations.
And to wait for next year.
It's good.
They are.
We did have a foundation meeting last Friday for all the teachers that are watching, and we'll read it for later. The mini grants are still open for the foundation, so if you want to get your application in for them, we're rewarding this year. So we had a foundation meeting. Sorry.
Perfect. Second opportunity for public input on non-agenda items. All right, hearing none, we'll adjourn this meeting. The next meeting will be Tuesday, October 14th, 6:30 PM at the IPC High School Science Collaboration.